ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Next, in magnetism and matter, we can discuss about classification of materials. Based on magnetic properties, we can classify the materials. So different types of substances: diamagnetic substances, paramagnetic substances and ferromagnetic substances. So those are diamagnetic substances, so paramagnetic substances and ferromagnetic substances. So these are the three types of materials we have: diamagnetism, paramagnetism and ferromagnetism. So we can discuss about these materials clearly one by one. So first we can discuss about diamagnetic substances. So in this diamagnetic substances, here any substance that must have paired electrons. In the previous class we discussed about this already, how the magnetic properties exist in the materials, how the magnetic properties exist due to the revolution of the electrons around the nucleus. So due to that electric current provides, right, by using right hand thumb rule, so magnetic property exists. So that means any substance that must have paired electrons, that substance is called diamagnetic substances. So here in this situation the magnetic moment exists due to revolution of electron around the nucleus, and spin motion of the electron. So how the magnetic moment exists? Magnetic property exists means definitely there must be a magnetic moment. How the magnetic moment exists? The magnetic moment exists due to the revolution of the electron around the nucleus and the spin motion of the electron. So next, due to this paired electrons, these two magnetic moments are in opposite direction, so that they must be cancelled. Net magnetic moment of the system must be 0. So here net magnetic moment of the system is, or substance, is 0. Net magnetic moment of the substance is 0 here. So now if these substances are placed in external magnetic field, so the particles they experience magnetic moment opposite to the direction of external magnetic field. Opposite to the direction of external magnetic field. So this is the 4 points regarding to this. Any substance that must have paired electrons, those are called paramagnetic substances, diamagnetic substances. So the magnetic moment exists. How the magnetic moment exists for these materials? Due to the revolution of the electrons around the nucleus and the spin motion of the electrons. So we already discussed about this in the previous class. Next, net magnetic moment of the substance must be 0. If these materials, these diamagnetic materials, these substances are placed in external magnetic field, diamagnetic substances are placed in external magnetic field, these materials experience magnetic moment opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field, opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field. So that is why these materials feebly repelled by magnets. So these diamagnetic substances are feebly repelled by the magnets. Feebly means slightly repelled by the magnets. So these are the properties of these diamagnetic substances. Any substance that must have, so like this, right? These are the important points regarding this. And one more thing, in diamagnetic substances, for example, let us say this North Pole and it is South Pole. It's North Pole and it is South Pole. Here definitely certain amount of magnetic field exists. Here certain amount of magnetic field exists. If any diamagnetic substance is placed in magnetic field, any diamagnetic substance is placed in magnetic field, then it must align perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. If the diamagnetic substance is placed in the direction of the magnetic field, then the diamagnetic substance must align perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. That means what we discussed already, the diamagnetic substance feebly repelled by the magnets. So that is why due to repulsion it must align perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Next point in this, so next point in this is, let us say it is the U-shaped tube here. So let us say having certain amount of liquid here, magnetic properties of the liquid, and it is placed in magnetic field, external magnetic field. This is the diamagnetic substance. In case of U-shaped tube, this is the diamagnetic substance and it is North Pole and it is South Pole. Let us say if it is placed between the poles of the magnet, now the level of the liquid column must be decreases. Level of the liquid column must be decreases. So this is the one of the property of the diamagnetic substance, because the diamagnetic substance must repelled by the magnets, slightly repelled by the magnets. And one more thing is, if we draw the graph for H and I, what is H? External factor. What is I? Internal factor. If the diamagnetic substance is placed in external magnetic field, diamagnetic substance is placed in external magnetic field, what happens? It experience magnetic moment opposite to the direction of the magnetic field, opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. That means if the H value increases, I value also increases, but negative, opposite in direction. That is why the shape of the graph will be like this. The shape of the graph for I and H is negative. So I and H. So what is H? External factor, external applied magnetic field. What is I? Internal factor of the magnetic substance. H is the external magnetic field, I is the magnetic property of the given substance. If the H value increases, but I value also increases, but in opposite direction. So that's why it is negative. When compared to H, I is negative. So we know, and one more thing, and we know here Xi is equals to I by H. But here if H is positive, I is negative. Therefore here Xi is negative. Magnetic susceptibility of the diamagnetic substances is negative. Magnetic susceptibility of the diamagnetic substance is negative. And we know mu r is equals to 1 plus Xi. If here Xi is negative, then mu r is less than unity or less than 1. This is the important points here. If the temperature, in case of diamagnetic substances, Xi is negative, magnetic susceptibility is negative. So due to that, we know the relation mu r is equals to 1 plus Xi, 1 plus Xi, then Xi is negative, therefore mu r is less than 1 or less than unity. And here one more point is Xi is not depends on, Xi does not depends on temperature. Here Xi does not depends on temperature here. In case of diamagnetic substances, magnetic susceptibility does not depends on temperature. So these are the properties of the diamagnetic materials. Main important points you have to remember is which are considered as diamagnetic substances, the substance must have paired electrons like that. And when the diamagnetic substances are placed in external magnetic field, they must experience magnetic moment opposite to the direction of the applied magnetic field. So these are feebly repelled by the magnets. The magnetic material, diamagnetic materials are feebly repelled by the magnet. Feebly repelled. Feebly means slightly repelled by the magnet. So that is the situation. And how this Xi value graph for the IH graph. What is I? Intensity of magnetization. I is the intensity of magnetization. What is H? Intensity of the magnetizing field. That means H is the external factor, I is the internal factor of the given substance. So this is the case of diamagnetic substances. Next case, second one is paramagnetic substances. Paramagnetic substances. Second one is paramagnetic substances. So examples of diamagnetic substances. For diamagnetic substances, examples are bismuth, copper, next manganese, like this. Bismuth, copper, manganese, like this. These are the examples of diamagnetic substances. So that means these substances slightly repelled by the magnetic substance, slightly, not up to that mark. So next to paramagnetic substances. So paramagnetic substances, what are the properties of paramagnetic substance? First one is the substances or the substance having unpaired electrons. The substance having unpaired electrons, those are called paramagnetic substances. The substances those are having unpaired electrons, those are called paramagnetic substances. In case of these paramagnetic substances, unpaired electrons, So for example, due to thermal agitation, so due to thermal agitation of the electrons, the net magnetic moment is 0. So initially electrons are arranged in different manners. So that's why due to the thermal agitation, the net magnetic moment of the paramagnetic substances is 0. Net magnetic moment of the paramagnetic substances is 0. If these substances are placed in external magnetic field, they must align in the direction of external magnetic field. So generally, see here, so this is the initially paramagnetic substances. So like this, in different directions like this. So and electrons are arranged in zigzag manner. So due to that thermal agitation or due to that, net magnetic moment of the system may be 0. If this is placed in the external magnetic field, the electrons are arranged in the direction of external magnetic field. Some are arranged in opposite direction or some are arranged in the direction. So due to that, net magnetic moment of the system does not 0. Net magnetic moment of the system, here net magnetic moment of the system is not equal to 0. Net magnetic moment of the system is not equals to 0. So the magnetic moment exists in the direction of the magnetic field. The magnetic moment exists in the direction of magnetic field. So these are called paramagnetic substances. So any substance that have unpaired electrons, due to unpaired electrons, if these are not in the external magnetic, generally this is considered as a system, the net magnetic moment of the system is 0. If this system or the substance is placed in the external magnetic field, they must align in the direction of applied magnetic field. So due to that, net magnetic moment exists in the direction of the applied field, in the direction of the magnetic field. So now, so here paramagnetic substances attracted by feebly attracted, paramagnetic substances feebly attracted by magnets, So these are the properties of the paramagnetic materials. Next, in this situation, so for example, this is the North Pole, and this is the South Pole, if the magnet is suspended, the paramagnetic substance is suspended between the poles of the magnets, then this must align in the direction of the magnetic field. The magnet must align in the direction of the magnetic field. Let us say it is south, north. So, if the paramagnetic substance is suspended in uniform magnetic field, then that magnet must align in the direction of the applied magnetic field. So, second condition in the previous case just like that. So, let us say it is like this. This paramagnetic substance is placed in this one, and it is placed between the poles of the magnets. This paramagnetic substance is placed between the poles of the substance. Then the level rises inside the tube. Because this must be attracted by the magnets. Paramagnetic substance can be attracted by the magnets. Now, next condition here. If we draw the graph, IH graph, so let us say it is I and it is H. The shape of the graph is straight line passing through origin. So, H is external factor, I is the internal factor. Due to the applied magnetic field, I also increases. What is I? Intensity of magnetization. This is the internal property of the substance. Whatever is the substance we are magnetizing. For example, this is the paramagnetic substance. This must be magnetized with the help of external field. So, that is why it is H and it is I. So, this straight line passing through origin. Now, here slope is positive. Here the slope is positive. So, therefore, xi is equals to I by H. So, xi is positive and small value, and it is positive. Of course, it is a small value, but xi is positive. And we know mu r is equals to 1 plus xi. If xi is positive, therefore, mu r is greater than 1. Xi is positive and small. Then here it is mu r is greater than 1. Relative permeability is greater than 1. Now, next condition is here Curie's law. One is Curie's law. What is that Curie's law is? Magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Here, how the magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. So, xi is inversely proportional to T. So, what is T here? Absolute temperature. T is absolute temperature. But in case of diamagnetic substances, magnetic susceptibility does not varies with time. But in case of paramagnetic substances, magnetic susceptibility varies inversely with absolute temperature. If you draw the graph for 1 by xi and temperature, the shape of the graph is straight line. 1 by xi, it is not xi. This is 1 by xi and this is shape of the graph. Next here, if you draw the graph for xi and t, the shape of the graph is like this, inversely proportional. This is the graph between xi and t, and this is the graph between 1 by xi and t. So, like that. So, this is the paramagnetic substances. Here it is Curie's law. In case of major points you have to remember is paramagnetic substances means the substances must have unpaired electrons. The substances must have unpaired electrons like that. And if H value increases, intensity of magnetization also increases. That means those electrons must align in the direction of applied magnetic field. So that is why I is positive, therefore Xi is positive and it is small value. So mu r is 1 plus Xi, that is why mu r is greater than, relative permeability is greater than 1. Next, Curie's law. So magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. So like this is called Curie's law and this concerned graph for this. Next, come to the ferromagnetic substances. Next here, ferromagnetic substances. Ferromagnetic substances means, here simply we can write it as paramagnetic substances with high intensity are called ferromagnetic substances. Paramagnetic substances with high intensity, that means the substances having more number of free electrons or more number of unpaired electrons, those are called paramagnetic substances. So these substances are strongly attracted by the magnets. These substances are called strongly attracted by the magnets. So these substances are having high magnetic moment in the direction of applied field. These substances are strongly attracted by the magnets and these are having the high magnetic moment in the direction of the applied field. So just ferromagnetic substances means paramagnetic substance with high intensity, that means more number of free electrons or more number of unpaired electrons. Those are simply we can say that those are ferromagnetic substances. But how these ferromagnetic substances varies with temperature like that. So for example, if we draw the IH graph, so this is I and this is H, it is not varies with like this. It is not varies with like this. So if the H value increases, continuously and I value reaches to certain extent and becomes saturation point, and this is called saturation level. So from that point onwards, saturation level, from this point onwards, of course we increase the value of H, but I value remains constant. So that means if the ferromagnetic substance is placed in the external magnetic field, then it must be aligned, all the particles must be aligned in the direction of the applied magnetic field and up to certain extent. Certain extent means all the particles are aligned in the direction of applied field. So if all the particles are over, So that is the saturation level. No other extra particles to align. If all the particles must align in the direction of applied magnetic field, so that is called saturation level. So that means from this point onwards, of course we increase the value of H, but I value remains constant. So that is called the saturation level. So I and H varies non-linearly. I and H varies non-linearly. Next, if we draw the graph for relative permeability and susceptibility, the shape of the graph is like this. Shape of the graph for the relative permeability and susceptibility. So next, next here one more thing is, so the main thing here, H value increases, I value also increases up to certain extent and it becomes saturated. After that, increase of I is not possible. For example, your capability is to throw the ball through a distance of, let us say, 50 meters. How much pressure we can apply? You throw the ball up to 50 meters only. After that, not possible. For example, forget about that. For example, your capability of eating at a time 20 sweets, let us say 20 sweets. Of course, how much pressure, whatever, how much pressure we can apply, how much maximum you can eat, 21 or 22. More than that, not possible. So that is the saturation level. Your saturation level is up to 20, 21, 22, that's all. After that, it is not possible. So that is the case here. Of course, whatever is the increase in the value of H, I value reaches to saturation, then that from that point onwards, I does not changes, that remains constant. So that is. Next here, in case of ferromagnetic substances, if the temperature of substances increases at particular temperature, the ferromagnetic substance behaves as paramagnetic substances. The ferromagnetic substance behaves as paramagnetic substance. So this temperature is called paramagnetic Curie temperature. So if the temperature of the substance gradually increases, at particular temperature, the ferromagnetic substance behaves like a paramagnetic substance. The temperature is called Curie temperature. So from this we can write Xi is inversely proportional to T minus Tc, where Tc is Curie temperature, Magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to T minus Tc. Where Tc is called Curie temperature. So if we draw the graph 1 by Xi, so this is the shape of the graph, 1 by Xi and temperature. Or if we draw the graph for xi and t, the shape of the graph is this one. This is the Curie temperature. After the temperature only it behaves like that. So, this is the Curie temperature. If the temperature is greater than Curie temperature, then only the ferromagnetic substance behaves like paramagnetic substance. So, that is the situation. This phenomena can be used in superconductors nowadays. This is the classification of para, ferro and dia, para, ferro substance, magnetic substances. And in case of ferromagnetic substance, Xi is positive and it is high value. Magnetic susceptibility is positive and it is high value. Then mu r is equals to 1 plus Xi. That's why mu r is very much greater than 1. Mu r is very much greater than 1. So, that is the classification of the materials: diamagnetic substances, ferromagnetic substances and paramagnetic substance. These graphs and Xi value, mu r values are very important. For what substances mu r value is positive, or for diamagnetic substances, what is the value of Xi? Negative. What is the value of mu r? Relative permeability less than unity. And in case of paramagnetic substances, what is the value of Xi? Positive and small value, like that. Theory bits, theory concepts, this is important. In this hysteresis loop or hysteresis curve, hysteresis curve, that means see here. So, this is x axis and this is y axis. Along y axis I am considering I, along x axis I am considering h. In case of ferromagnetic substances, so how the value of I increases like this, reaches to saturation. If the value of H increases, the value of I also increases non-linearly and reaches to the saturation point. Let us say it is the point O and it is the point A. Here the point A is saturation point. Just now we discussed about this graph. If the H value increases, I value also increases and reaches to certain extent. That is saturation point in case of ferromagnetic substances. So, of course, A is called the saturation point. Now if you decrease the value of H, opposite direction, if you decrease the value of H slightly, if the H value becomes 0, if you decrease the value of H in opposite direction, the curve does not follow the path AO, but it follows the path, so AB. Got the point? Here, if the H value, in the initial case, if the H value increases, I value also increases, and the graph, shape of the graph is, let us say it is OA. The shape of the graph is OA. That is the shape of the graph. If you decrease the value of H and the graph does not shows the path AO, but it shows the path AB. It follows the path AB. Of course, if the H value during the reversing of this field, during the decreasing of the H value, if the H value becomes 0, I value does not become 0. During the decreasing process, H value becomes 0, but I value is not become 0. Of course, the external magnetic field becomes 0, but certain amount of intensity of magnetization already existing in the magnetic material. That is called retentivity or residual magnetism. So, the word is retentivity or residual magnetism. Retentivity or residual magnetism. What is retentivity and what is residual magnetism? That means if you decrease the value of H, here the condition, if we decrease the value of H, if we decrease the value of H, I value also decreases, I value also decreases, but I also decreases. If H reaches to 0, but I value does not become 0. If we decrease the value of H, so this is the increase of H, and if we decrease the value of H, the graph does not follows the path AO, the graph does not follows the path AO. Here the graph follows the path AB. So that means if the H value reaches to 0, but I value does not become 0. So the value of intensity of magnetization remains, the value of intensity of magnetization remains after intensity of magnetizing field, intensity of the magnetizing field becomes 0 is called retentivity. That is the definition. The value of the intensity of magnetization remains after intensity of magnetizing field becomes 0. That is called retentivity, or that is also called as residual magnetism. Retentivity or residual magnetism. This is the one topic, that means one word, that is retentivity or residual magnetism. Retentivity or residual magnetism. So that is the situation now. Of course, again you increase the value of H in opposite direction, and I value also again reaches to the, if H value increases in opposite direction, again I value becomes saturation. So now this becomes like this. Let us say it is C, D, let us say E, so F, like this. So this is the actual graph. If you decrease the value to if you decrease the H value to 0, certain amount of I remains. That remaining of I is called retentivity or residual magnetism. If we decrease the value of H in opposite direction, or if we increase the value of H in opposite direction, if we increase the value of H in opposite direction, then the I value decreases and becomes 0. If you increase the value of H in opposite direction, this is also H, but in opposite direction. At certain extent, the I value becomes 0. That is called coercivity. Coercivity. So that is called retentivity. Retentivity means if the H value becomes 0, the remaining value of I is called retentivity. The minimum amount of H value required to reduce the I to 0. So coercivity in the sense the minimum value of H required to reduce the I value to 0 is called coercivity. So the minimum value of H must be applied in opposite direction to reduce the I value to 0, that is called coercivity. These are the two terms here you have to learn, that is retentivity and coercivity. Retentivity means remaining value of I. Coercivity means the minimum value of H required in opposite direction, to reduce the I to 0, that is called coercivity. Coercivity means H, retentivity means I. So that is the situation. And this is the closed loop. If you join all this, and this is called the hysteresis curve. From A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E. This is also called retentivity, and this is also called, what is that, coercivity, like that. So this is the hysteresis curve. So A, B, C, D, E, F, A, this closed path, this is called the hysteresis curve, and this is the opposite end, this is the positive end and this is the negative end. What is the hysteresis loss? So how it is the amount of energy lost during one curve? The amount of energy lost during this curve is called hysteresis loss. How the energy lost? So of course, we are increasing the value of H, I value also increases. If we increase the value of H, I value also increases. During the decreasing process, if the H becomes 0, I value not becomes 0. If the H 0, I value not becomes 0. That is only called as retentivity. To decrease the value of I to 0, we are increasing the H value in opposite direction. To decrease the I value to 0, we increase the H value in opposite direction. That means extra force we have to apply, extra work we have to apply. So that extra work is called hysteresis loss. Extra magnetic field required to reduce the I value to 0, that is called hysteresis loss. So during one place, this one and this one, those are the hysteresis loss, that is. And based on this, we can differentiate two conditions. One is what are the permanent magnets and what are the temporary magnets, based on the values only. So based on the values, susceptibility and next permeability, next retentivity, coercivity, next hysteresis loss. So based on these 5 points, we can differentiate magnets. What are the permanent magnets? Permanent magnets and temporary magnets. So in case of permanent magnet, susceptibility value is high, and temporary magnets also its value is high, but permeability is also high and it is also high. In case of permanent magnets and temporary magnets, susceptibility is maximum because those are ferromagnetic substances. For any magnetic properties, we are using ferromagnetic substances. So for any ferromagnetic substance, susceptibility is high and permeability also high. But in these situations, retentivity is high. In case of temporary magnets, retentivity is low. and here it is coercivity is high and it is low, and hysteresis loss is also high in this situation and it is low. So by using these 5 properties we can differentiate the magnets whether they are permanent magnets or temporary magnets. So in case of temporary magnets, temporary retentivity is low. These are because these are slightly magnetized, so that's why retentivity is low, and coercivity is also low, and hysteresis is also low. So in case of permanent magnets, what is meant by the permanent magnets? Of course we remove the external magnetic field. Of course we may remove the external magnetic field, but the magnetic property of the material does not become zero. It reaches to zero after a long time. It reaches to zero after long time. Those are called permanent magnets. And temporary magnets. So if you remove the external magnetic field, the magnetic property of the material suddenly falls. Those are called temporary magnets. So this is the situation. So susceptibility, retentivity like this. And this is the magnetism and matter topic.